Today I'm wearing these whack glasses because I'm going to be watching the new Spider-Man in 3D in Japan. This is the movie theater. As you can see, Japanese people love Spider-Man.
Who's got some videos that are really great? Ozzy 78.
Yokoso peeps, it's Oz. Or for those of you who don't know me, the guy who played the Oompa Loompa in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I just got home from watching the new Spider-Man. And while it's still fresh in my mind, I decided to make a movie review. So don't worry, I'm not going to ruin the movie for you. Alright, where to begin with this movie? Let's start with the easy stuff, the CGI. There was a lot of good action scenes, and a lot of CGI was used, but it was good because it was kind of hard to tell. I mean, of course, when Spider-Man is swinging across the city, you know that's not real. But I mean, it looked kind of real. A lot of the movies recently, like Planet of the Apes, have a lot of CGI and it looks kind of like video game, but this movie was actually pretty realistic looking. It's definitely a must-watch if you enjoy CGI and big sound and big effects in the movie theater. Let's talk about actors. Now, the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, I really liked him. You know, he's a lovable, goofy, sweet character. The new Spider-Man, however, is a little bit different. He's still kind of an outcast and kind of goofy and nerdy, but he's much more cooler. He's kind of like the love child of Edward from Twilight and Harry Potter. But what I liked about him is he's much smarter. You know, he's much more into the science and electronics as opposed to the Tobey Maguire who only pretty much took pictures. Now, I'll admit I haven't read the Spider-Man comic books and I'm not a hardcore Spider-Man fan. But if I have to compare the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man to the new one, I definitely prefer the new guy. And one thing you probably know is there's no Mary Jane in this movie. Well, there kind of is, but her name's Gwen. And honestly, I like this character much better than Mary Jane. You know, Mary Jane is one of those girls that Peter Parker is really in love with and he always has to go around saving her and whatnot. But you know, this new character, Gwen, she's much more stronger, more powerful, mentally and physically. She actually helps Spider-Man out a lot. And the new villain, Dr. Connors or the Lizard Man or whatever he is actually probably one of the best villains. I didn't like the Green Goblin guy because he just looked like a green Iron Man. The Octavius guy was kind of cool in part 2. And everyone knows Venom screwed the movie up in part 3. But this Lizard guy, he did a fairly good job. I like the fact that, you know, he's kind of likable and you can understand what he's doing, but at the same time you can see the cruelty too. Okay, let's talk storyline. This movie was smart for 2 reasons. One is it kind of stuck to the original Spider-Man story. There was a lot of similarities between the first Spider-Man and this Spider-Man. The regret that Spider-Man feels and the blame he has for the death of Uncle Ben is very similar to part 1. But although this Spider-Man kind of sticks to the original Spider-Man story, there are a few loose ends. I won't mention specifics, mostly because they don't really say it, but something to do with his parents, and also there's a kind of a twist at the end, which you should stick around after the credits for, otherwise you'll miss it. One thing I did notice about this Spider-Man is it's definitely targeted to the younger crowd. Besides the actors looking younger and cooler, the storyline is also much more adult. And I think it's definitely playing on the success of Twilight. I mean, in the original, when Tobey Maguire finds out he's Spider-Man, it's kind of funny how he kind of grows into the role. However, in this one, it's a little bit more dark. He actually looks like he's like high on LSD and having hallucinations. Also, visually, it's a little bit more graphic as well. I'm afraid of spiders, but when Tobey Maguire got bit, I was fine. But how it happens in this movie is kind of creepy. A couple of things I didn't like about this movie are some extra unnecessary scenes. There's a scene where Peter Parker and the Gwen girl are kind of trying to ask each other out and it's kind of awkward and weird and didn't make sense. Also, the only time I didn't like the Peter Parker character in the whole movie is when he first kind of becomes Spider-Man and there's a scene with a car thief and just the way he's talking, he comes off as a kind of a douche. Much like the new Star Trek, this will appeal to many audiences, not just hardcore comic book fans. I'm sure some Spider-Man fanatics will find some reason to hate this movie, but I think the general population will enjoy it. It's definitely a fun, interesting movie. A little predictable, but what blockbuster in the summer isn't? Now, I watched this movie in 3D, but I recommend don't pay the price for the 3D if you don't have to. There wasn't that much spectacular 3D moments that come to mind. Pretty much about 75% of the movie, I didn't even remember that I was watching 3D. Anyway, I quite enjoy this movie and I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. If you've seen the movie, or when you see the movie, please leave a comment, let me know what you thought of the movie. Also, I'm going to hold another mini contest. I got 4 of these Spider-Man postcards. They're from Japan because that's where I'm living. So they kind of have Japanese on the back. So if you're interested in this, all you have to do is leave a comment with your favorite superhero. And I'll randomly choose and I'll send 4 people these postcards. I know you're hoping for something better, but I'm a cheap bastard. Come on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up if you like this video. Leave a comment. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Take care. Peace.